Hello and welcome to the Velvet Revolution. Back in its early morning recording slot, feels a little bit more normal than the last one. So it's good to be back and doing things in a regular place. It's not as unsettling. So my name is Ben Rice and I'm joined as ever by Dave Noble. Good morning, Dave. How you doing?
Good morning. Very well, thank you. Feeling really good.
Yeah.
hmm
Any particular reason why you're feeling particularly good today?
Just feel rich,
Oh,
healthy.
okay.
You know, Bob Marley's rich.
Is he? Wait, he
No,
was.
no, no. I am Bob Marley, the Bob Marley brand of rich.
Oh, okay.
And to all you dope heads out there, I'm not talking about getting high on weed. I mean, Bob Marley was known for a lot of other things, but um, no, he said, didn't he? A measure of a man's success is not how much gold or silver he has. It's
It's
where
how
his
much?
heart, it's where his heart's at,
Oh.
right?
Is that a
Something like
lyric? Is that a
that.
lyric or is that just a quote?
Don't quote me on that. He said something. I'll try and pull it
Okay.
because because that's true, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Been my experience anyway. So yeah, I'm just why is my rich heart? Why is my heart rich? It just feels content. I'm content.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you feel content, do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in your bank balance? Do you feel it in your pocket? Do you feel it in your stomach because you're well fed? You know, is it, after when you're smoking a cigarette after sex or a cigar
A
or your pipe?
cigar. Um, Sherlock Holmes after sex. Um, I don't know. I think it's an all sort of. I feel content. There is a contentness when I've sort of completed. Like this morning, I got up about half six,
hmm
7, and did some movement, and then went for a five k walk, and yeah, got back, and yeah, I feel it's set me off in the right way for the day. It sort of sets me up, and yeah, I get that sort of richness, that contentness. But does it
Yeah,
sit in my heart? Is it just an all over feeling? It's almost like a ready brick glow, like an aura.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. With honey.
with honey. I'm not allowed honey.
Oh yeah. How's that all going anyway?
I have good days and bad days. My bad days mainly consist of me thinking I can eat anything I want, um, which has never gone as far as eating loads of sugar. Um, I haven't I haven't had any processed sugar for since August of last year. So let's get on for 6 months, isn't it? But
Yeah.
my nemesis is still nuts. I'm like a squirrel.
You are, well, this has already been established, mate.
Yeah, I
So where have you been foraging? Is that what squirrels do? Forage for
yeah.
nuts? Where have you
Uh,
been foraging for nuts, Ben?
I foraged at Morrison's on Friday. There are other supermarkets available, but I happened to be in Morrison's.
Is that because they're the cheapest bang for your buck, or is there a
They
reason?
were the nearest supermarket to the train station from where I picked up my friend.
So this sounds strategic. Sounds like,
He wanted to go and get some food because he hadn't eaten, and yeah, we went to Morrison's, and I picked myself up 2 bags of mixed nuts, and I got back home and I ate the lot.
what? Hang on, hang on. How big are those bags?
Mm.
Just a little snack size, little
No, no, no.
family, big.
Not full family size, but in between.
So, in theory, the sort of bag that you would put into a jar, empty its contents into a container, and you just graze at it over the course of, like, say, whenever, life over the course of until it runs out. So you graze. It's just a little ham grab here and there, and just as a little afternoon snack or something.
Yeah, it's the kind of bag you'd buy and possibly put out an event for people just to help themselves. And
And you're the dude that went there and selfishly stood there and ate the fucking lot and didn't let anyone have a look
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah. I'd be blocking
it.
everyone away from them. And then just to double down on that, I had also had one of my favorite snacks is I like to have like celery or carrots, like
Mm.
raw, just chopped up, and dipping them in peanut butter.
It sounds like you're back in the eroticism of it all again.
Mm. So basically, I did about 24 hours where I ate a lot of peanut butter and a lot of nuts.
So you weren't content with just the nuts. You had to go for peanut butter
The
as
peanut.
well.
I think the peanut butter had happened the night before because,
You're in oblivion, aren't you, with this
yeah,
right now?
I didn't have to. I had organised to go out with my parents on Thursday because it's my mother's birthday tomorrow,
Yeah.
and yeah, so my sister had come along, and my daughter, my son managed to get out of it, and yeah, we went for a curry, and I kind of knew beforehand because curries can. I love a curry, but my stomach doesn't particularly at the moment, and um, I was also very conscious that we weren't meeting them until 7 o'clock in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
so it was going to be a late event. And yeah, when we got to the restaurant, the waiter at the restaurant, I mean, he was absolutely useless. I think it got to 7:45 when I actually said, "Can we possibly order?" Because he was just standing around. He didn't even offer us drinks. It was just yeah, I was getting and I was getting anxious. I was sitting at the table, actually starting to feel anxious about the fact it's like when is this food going to come? Because I'd purposefully not eaten that day just because I knew then I could try and I could eat whatever I wanted at in the evening.
Can I ask you a question just quick? Do you think because you had to go and eat with your parents, right?
Yeah,
Do you think this is, like we was joking about Christmas Xmas, weren't we? What
yep,
if we were to do that? Do you feel this is one of those Xmas scenarios where we just eat our way through it for a
yeah,
situation?
yeah. For the basically with my parents, it's food is such a I think I know that food is my main addiction. I don't. I stopped doing alcohol like 10 years ago. I didn't even really think about it. It
You
was
didn't
never.
drink.
I'm quite happy to go to pubs
Yeah.
and situations where people are drinking. I'm not. It never triggers me.
It wasn't a battle. We was talking about this off air,
Mm,
weren't we? It wasn't a
yeah,
battle. You just you that was like a duck to water. That one.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and it was quite clear that wasn't really my main addiction. Um, but yeah, food is wrapped up in all kinds of emotion with me, and if I'm stressed or worried or yeah, in going into a situation which I'm not particularly where I know it's going to be unsettling, then I my shield is down. My can't think of the word. My determination to stick with whatever I'm doing is
Your focus.
my
Yeah.
focus. Yeah.
Um.
So yeah, it was just one of so I you know I had I had a load of vegetables because I don't eat meat, and I'd also cooked up some protein, some temper before I went in. And
Uh-huh.
I sneakily snuck that onto my dish. So
Yeah.
I had quite a lot of food, but because I hadn't eaten all day, I was still starving. It hadn't satisfied me. And
Yeah.
I think also the sort of level of anxiety I had in sitting there and thinking, oh my God, what's gonna happen? I just, yeah. you know,
Mm.
I just want to eat. I just want to get out of here. And then I got home and I was like, what can I eat now? And I was still,
Because you'd opened the doorway and it
yeah,
was flooding in now.
yeah. So then I had some carrots and some celery, and I found a tub of peanut butter, and I just went for it. So the next day, I was like, oh, yeah, it seemed okay, felt okay. Uh, and then in the evening, as I said, I went for it with more
Yeah.
nuts and more
Yeah.
peanut butter, and yeah, and then my stomach just went, nah, you're not doing this. So that's the weird thing at the moment is, um, I don't know. And as not being an alcoholic, or you know, do you if you were kicking alcohol and you hadn't done it for say 6 months, and then you went and tried alcohol again,
Hmm.
would your body reject it, or would you
Well,
just
well,
slip back into
I did that. Not
yeah,
in after 6 months. I did 8 years of sobriety,
right,
right? And to any truest Alcoholics Anonymous kind of people, they'd be like, blasphemy!
mm-hmm.
You had alcohol, you've relapsed. And it's like, no, I didn't, right? It was a calculated experiment,
Okay,
right? So I did 8 years of sobriety, right? And I was in a situation, it was a Christmas where someone presented a flute of Prosecco and had a strawberry bobbling up and down in it. And they said, and it was about half 11, 12 midday. And we were cooking dinner. I was at a friend's and I was there for the Boxing Day dinner. And they were a very, very good friend of mine, their mother, and close family. And I felt really safe
mm-hmm.
and happy and content in my life. No emotional turbulence was going in. There was no little gremlin in my ear going, "You want to play, get drunk, and end up with your fucking head in the fire at the end of the night with people sticking crackers up your pants," you know, all of that malarkey. None of that, right? I was just completely, you know, in a very, very stable, good place in my life. And someone presented one and they said, look, you know, I know you haven't drunk for fucking God knows how long, but if you want one, you can have one. And I
Yep,
thought, do you know what? I'm going to have one.
mm-hmm.
And it was um, premeditated, I don't know if that's the right word, because it wasn't. It was just a very sort of in the moment thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done with the right spirit, conscientiously. I was very conscious, very present. And it was lovely. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. And that was all I had. I left it at that. And I
Is that the
didn't,
last time you had a drink?
I tried one more time to do it after that, about 4 years after that. So can you see, it
Yeah,
wasn't like a relapse situation. It was
mm-hmm.
just me trying to see whether this is something that still suits my lifestyle or who I want to be. And I parked it up and said, nah, you know, I just feel a lot better without it. Um, I still stay true to my mission, which is I have not been drunk or inebriated or disconnected from being conscious in like I always say nearly 20 years, 17 years, whatever it's been. But I did try.
Mm.
And it's a really healthy, empowering exercise because I showed that I can do it if I want. So I'd really rewired myself. Now that is the most healthy thing that I could have ever have done, and I really encourage everyone and anyone to try that. For whatever reason they're trying to find empowerment or a sense of liberation from the shackles of entrapment that are is addiction. It is in the mind. It centers in the mind. It can have a somatic physicality to it, a physical, addiction, of course. But I was way past that. I was free from that stuff. I was just some dude that partied really hard, man. And decided that I needed to stop in my early 30s, gave it a long break, and then had this sort of like. Now, I know people that have been sober for years and they still call themselves alcoholics,
Yeah.
you know. although they've not drunk for years, and they've always got this niggling, and they're lying if they say they don't. This wonder of like, I wonder if I can.
Yeah.
I hear people share about that all the time. Years
Hmm.
sober. That's not freedom. That's not empowerment. That's you're on the run still. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just the way I see it. Feel free to write to me and challenge me on what I'm saying, anyone. You know, if this is not your experience, and I'll help you with that because I've got a different experience to what I didn't want to be one of them people that was on the run from my demons anymore. You know, drink wasn't the problem. Food's not the problem. I was the problem. My thinking, my attitude, and the trauma that I had in my body. So if I look at all that stuff and I work through it, which I have and I do and I continue to do, that's empowerment. I'm free.
Hmm.
I don't have to be a bitch to shit anymore. And I know you were sharing, we was on a couple of episodes back or whatever, and it's that nature of the beast, the gremlin.
Yep.
That little gremlin is chatting to you now because it recognized that you were vulnerable, and the vulnerability came in you having to go and have dinner in a situation with people where there's stuff coming up for you.
Yeah.
And that was just the gremlin recognized it. It went, oh hello, he's vulnerable right now. Let's have a go, see if he wants to play. And you, unfortunately, you played, but that's okay. Don't you shouldn't feel ashamed of that.
No, no, no. It's more it feels like a sort of trial and error thing at the moment because I took away the power of food by not eating uh very much.
Mm-hmm.
I took away that sort of desire to um eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then it's a matter of like introducing. So I guess what like you like you pointed out when you're trying to work out the size of these bags of nuts, yeah? I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it's like, I don't know, 8 servings or whatever. It's probably they were probably at least 250 gram bags, if not 400 gram bags. I don't know.
See, if you had kids, well, you have, but and you're making their packed lunch,
Yeah.
would you buy those bags
God, no, no.
for
These
no for a week's worth of school dinners,
possibly.
and you put a little handful in a tub
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
for each,
yeah.
right?
And I guess one so the other so as well as the past month of reintroducing food and trying to eat really healthily, um, and it's really interesting what my body does with food now and
Mm-hmm.
how much I can eat.
Mm-hmm.
And also then the other thing I've introduced in the past couple of weeks is more exercise, more movement. So I've been walking. I think I've got up to an average of about 12, 13K a
Yeah.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in my head, there's the gremlin is sort of saying, well, you've done loads of exercise. You've moved loads. You've like look at you. You know, I've got my watch back on, and I'm trying to complete the circles every day,
Yeah.
and it's this sort of motivation of like yeah, I've walked 16,000 steps today,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, I deserve a treat now. I you need to reward yourself. You've
Yeah.
earned this, and so it's that as well. And then once I start, I can't stop. I can't just go, yeah, I've measured out 40 grams of nuts and that's it. I could just enjoy these 40 grams. What actually I need to do is eat 500 grams of nuts to really
Yeah.
satisfy myself and make myself feel
Uh,
that uncomfortable, sicky sort of like,
all
oh, I'm really full. And
right.
oh, yeah, one more wafer
All
thin
right.
mint.
Let,
It's like,
let me give you a shortcut to anyone listening. This is for you as well, right? Because this is so common. And I was mocking you a little bit, but I did apologize, I remember, because if we track the episodes back, you was on this high and you were saying, I'm doing this new thing.
yeah,
And I sort of said, look, there's always a plan B.
yeah, yeah,
Right, remember I was doing that. Now, I was part joking, part serious. Reason being is I know the nature of the beast. So I was sort of not expecting you to fail because I always expect people to be successful because it is possible. So I'm always, hoping for that and wishing for that. And I can expect that to be an outcome. But the reality is it's very probable that there's going to be more before you get to that point because it's the nature of the beast. Now, anyone listening who's suddenly seen the light and gone, ah, I'm going to stop drinking. I recognize that drinking is bad for me, or whatever the vice is, or the thing, the habit. Ah, I've seen the light. You know, I'm talking from my own experience here too. This is why I know it so well. Is that before I got to a point where I could have that long length of abstinence, you know, and I shared, I had 8 years of abstinence, total abstinence from all mind-altering substances before I had a very conscientious, um, self-aware decision to go, I can do that if I choose. I've got a choice, and I'm at liberty to exercise that if I choose to. And I'm very aware that, you know, I just have to gauge and read the room with myself. Where am I at? Is this a wise thing to do right now or not? And through that exercise, I learned a lot. And I continue to live my life in a beautiful way where I am completely abstinent from all mind-altering substances. I choose to be. But I know that if I was to, I can. How fucking empowering is that? But I choose not to. And I
Hmm.
continue long lengths, long years of abstinence. All right. Not like, oh, I'm gonna be sober then relapse. Oh, I'm gonna be sober then relapse. Oh, I'm gonna be sober then relapse, which is what I did all through my 20s into my early 30s. So I've got a lot of experience. I know the nature of the beast.
Hmm.
Right. So I'm very qualified to not to be whittering on about this, and this is why I coach and guide people, mentor other people through how to. The biggest Achilles heel for everyone is navigating social situations with other people where there's like a powerlessness and a vulnerability to the situation.
Yeah.
Because on
Yeah.
your own, left to your own devices, you do a lot better than, you know, because you're in control of the environment and you have a lot of influence over how to control it.
Yeah.
But when you're in a situation, this is why I was talking about, imagine Christmas Day. This is why people go mental on Christmas Day, go into oblivion and act out in all their different ways because they're so out of control and there's so much vulnerability and them gremlins are running riot. So So I kind of, you know, I'm always preempting that this is how it plays out. And it's
Mm.
okay because where you're at is brilliant because you are in this sort of like transition bit where you know, you're not in the oblivion of it, but you're not in the total abstinence from it. You're in this bit which you've got to just get through to get to the total abstinence bit.
Yeah.
And food is really hard for everyone because we need to eat.
Yeah.
We don't need to drink alcohol. We don't need to drink alcohol. We don't need to smoke. We don't need to take drugs. We don't need to do online shopping. We don't need to masturbate. We don't, or maybe we do. Hey, hey, hey. But but we don't need to have sex. We don't need to watch porn, etc., etc., etc. Right? But we need to eat.
Yeah.
That's why for everyone. I know I work in this realm. You know, eating disorders, whatever you want to call it, controlling. You know, not controlling, you know, by just being in oblivion with it, you know, it's really hard to navigate.
Mm.
On your own, maybe it's easier for some people, but when you put into social situations, I still struggle when I'm traveling because I've got to go through airports, on planes. The food is dog shit. It's not good for you. You know, how do you get through that when they take everything off you when you go through places?
Mm.
You know, and then you're in, you know, it's really hard to control, to navigate and manage, regulate your diet, food. So I think you're doing great, and you shouldn't beat yourself up that you're in this little battle at the minute, but it is a battle, and you will win it. But the trick is, and this is for everyone listening, we need long lengths of abstinence you have to starve it, not the food. You have to starve the gremlin.
Yeah.
You can't let it breathe because the gremlin's the one that's controlling this, not you. And for anyone listening, you know, let's give alcohol an example. Take it away from food, although it is relative to food. You know, you think, oh yeah, you know, I recognize, I feel really good without alcohol. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you're absolutely convinced you're going to go sober. And that's your first sort of mistake is getting too cocky. Because what I'm sharing is the reality.
Mm.
I know it well. There's forces at play that are far greater than your enthusiasm. You need experience. And the experience comes in abstinence time frames. So you need to shoot for a month, get your month back. Don't worry about trying to do it forever. That's where people go wrong. I always say to the young mavericks, because they're younger, oh, I'm going to go sober for the rest of my life. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, don't try and do that. Just do a year. It's great that you want to do it, but get your year, and I'll help you get your year, and then see where you're at there. And they do it because it's more manageable.
Yep.
People try and conquer the world before they've conquered themselves, man.
Mm.
I'm going on one, and I this is a fucking check-in, but it's all relative, isn't it? It's all relative.
Yeah, yeah, it's totally relative. It's yeah, it's been an interesting few days in terms of like it's very easy for me to go, right, I've messed up. I've eaten all this food, my bloods have gone to this level. Let's just pile on, let's do it for a week, and I know I can get it back because
You'll
I've done
get
it
it back.
before.
You'll get it back.
But it's not even yeah, it's the fact that after 24 hours I've gone, no, I can just, okay, that I've learned that. I've learned really, really shouldn't eat that
Yeah.
much food and not that many nuts at once.
No, you're not a
And
squirrel.
I'm not a squirrel.
You're not.
And I either need to learn to expand my cheeks wider and fill them up
No,
and store the nuts there
no.
rather than in my belly, or but go around and bury them underground,
Bury your nuts.
bury my nuts.
Bury your nuts. When you get the urge, right, when gremlins are trying to trip you up, you say no, 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 and then you bury. Like you shouldn't have any nuts in the house.
No, no, no
Um,
temptation.
I know people that are still to this day are sober and they have alcohol in the house because it's their way of being sober. It's very odd. I don't get that one. It's like, oh, if I don't have it in the house, I'm more likely to want to go and get it. I'm like, you've got a lot of work to do, mate. Do you know what I mean? If that's your fucking game,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
your strategy, you've got a lot of work to do. Um,
If I have nuts in the house, then yeah, then
yeah,
then there's the voice at the back of my head constantly going, "Oh, you could
yeah.
just have one."
And look, for you and everyone listening, including me, right? The important thing about this is we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Because when we get cocky and go, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking do this and that, right? And we do our own little private mission and we fail, because, you know, failure is part of success.
Hmm.
y- You're less likely to want to talk to anyone about it. You keep it, you're a secret squirrel, forgive the pun. But you're a secret little squirrel. You don't, you hide away from people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
your pride, and you know, you feel like you failed and da 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 da. No, talk about it. Say, look, I'm fucking struggling with this. This is greater than what I actually thought, and I need help. How did you do it? You know,
Mm.
you got any tips? You got any advice? You need accountability.
Yeah.
Without that accountability, you're gonna probably be in this cyclical, perpetuating, revolving door of feeling great. I'm going to do it. And I feel really hopeful and really empowered and really sort of, yeah, like I've got new energy and a new focus. And yeah, I feel great. Then they come and get you. The fucking squirrel gremlins get you.
The squirrel gremlins.
And before you know it,
There's an advert, isn't there, where people are eating. I can't remember what they're eating, but the
uh,
squirrels get closer and closer because
yeah,
they're eating their nuts.
yeah, we need to
That's what
animate
happens.
this. We need to animate it. Ben, you need to animate this, all right?
Okay.
We need to, and then they get you, and then you're consumed with like that remorse, that fucking self-hatred,
Shame.
guilt, shame. all of that horrible stuff. And then guess what? We eat on that. We drink on
Mm.
that. We freaking whatever we do on that, we it keeps us in our sickness. That's the
Yep.
nature of the beast.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about it. We have
Mm.
to grass it up. We have to call it out. I've just got that Bob Marley quote.
I got him. What is it?
Don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver or gold.
Nice.
Mr. Marley. Love that.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah. Don't gain the world and lose your soul. All right. Wisdom is better than silver or gold
Mhm.
or bronze. Maybe copper. Shall we shall we commence battle with trying to tackle we've got two left, haven't we?
We are on episode 51.
Okay.
You're not going to fight me over the number of the episode this week.
I'm not gonna bother.
And we are on the letter Y. And it's your choice.
What did we do last time?
We did xenophobia, didn't we?
Hang on, X, Y. So it is Y, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, that's not me. That's not me questioning you. That's me. That's me in my mind trying to calculate. It's how my brain works. I need to make sense of it. Even
Hmm.
if you do, I need to catch up with you. That's what I'm doing live right
Mm.
now. Is me catching up with you.
Yeah.
I'm behind you.
Okay.
Right.
That's why I these are the notes I make. These are the deep research notes I make before we start this episode.
Okay. So it's my turn to pick. You say.
Yeah.
Right. Let me get out of my Bob Marley quote and into
Okay.
my my
Get out of my dreams and into my car.
what's that from?
Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean, yeah. Can you sing it?
No.
Oh, you can. You just don't
I
want to.
can't really, I can't remember the rest of it now.
I can hear the riff. I'm not going to sing it
Yeah.
though because it's Billy Ocean. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to murder him. Right. Okay. I'm going for it. Right. There's not that many.
No. Well,
Okay.
last time we did some random one, didn't we? Because you didn't know what it was.
We did Yahoo,
Yeah.
which kind of equates to Yob.
Mm-hmm.
That's got Yob. It's written next to Yahoo's the word Yob, and it's redlined because we did it last round. So what remains is yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite nice.
Nice.
Yearn.
Yeah.
I'm yearning for those nuts, man. Sorry, I don't mean to. Am I triggering you by saying that?
No, not at all. I've
Mm,
learned a lesson.
good. Yeah, because you talked about it. You've taken the power out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I think we're clutching at straws there.
Yeah.
Yes, man. As in, like, it's yes dash man. So it's like yes, man, as in, I guess we could that tip into realms of politics, do you think?
Mm, maybe.
I mean, most people on the ground are like, no, man. But them lot are all yes, man, because they're all subservient to other agendas, right? That's just me
Maybe.
speculating. I have no proof of that. I'm just guessing that maybe that's what they're up to. It's the state of the world. It just surely humanity can't be based on. Surely we're in such a pickle. Surely there's got to be some dodgy shit going on.
You would have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, maybe got no proof.
Mm.
Who knows? Just me guessing. I stand corrected if I'm wrong. And then youthful.
Youthful.
I don't know why we've got that in there. We are
No,
clutching at
you
straws.
really are.
Youthful. Right, I'm going to go yin and yang
Okay.
because I feel like we've just touched on it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue with my bold statement of
Yep.
why? Okay. So yin and yang. Yin is mother energy,
Yeah.
the female. Is it not?
Uh, I I don't. I wouldn't know for definite. I might ask the robot.
And yang is like the masculine energy.
Okay.
Yeah, yin and yang. So it's like um, feminine and masculine. Okay.
Yin, dark, passive, feminine. Yang, bright, active, masculine.
That's interesting. So it's the masculine's bright and what did it say?
Yeah, yin associated with darkness, passivity, receptivity, cold, rest, femininity, the moon, and the north side of a hill.
Oh, I don't know
Yang,
why I just did that.
white, associated with brightness, activity, motion, warmth, growth, masculinity, the sun, and the south side of a hill.
Hang on, so the dark side of yin yang is the because it's black and white, the two
Yeah,
opposing spoons, they're spooning each other.
yeah.
They're like they are complementing each other. They're like they're the other version of the other one, right? They oppose. They're like a butterfly. They both look the same but are opposing um what's the word I'm looking for? Mirroring each other, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. There's it's. I mean, this bit at the bottom I've just found. Yin and Yang are fundamental to Chinese medicine, philosophy, Taoism, and understanding that nothing is completely good or bad, only a balance.
There we go. Thank you. That's great. Perfect. So that's what I was about to say, but not in those words. So that supports it. So that's good. That's good. So I'm on track. In my mind, what I was about to say is got something in it. So yeah, what we was just started the whole of this episode with um was pretty much that yin and yang energy,
Mhm.
the nature of what is in life. That you can't have one without the other.
No.
You can't. This is why you've got all of these freedom fighters, man. Like, which is great. I'm not knocking that. I am one, but I've got a different style of doing it, which is a little bit more realistic, I feel. I'm not saying everyone who's like a freedom fighter is deluded, but you know the sorts. You know those ones, right?
Those ones.
Am I being xenophobic?
No.
Uh, this is not to do with any one nation or culture. This is just attitudes. It's an attitude. The way people have this attitude towards how the world should be, which is it should all be just harmonious, one love, unicorns, rainbows, um, waterfalls, you know, um, pink fluffy clouds, and I don't know what else. Just lots of chocolate mousse
Air Bears.
and whipped cream and Care Bears floating around, and everyone's just mooching around in their loafers or their flip flops or barefoot,
Hmm.
and everyone's holding hands
Hmm.
if that's appropriate. I'm not sure. You get the vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
San Francisco,
Yeah.
although that was proper like dropout central, wasn't it? They were all just misfit mess ups, weren't they? Just all went mental on LSD. But they had a good, their intentions were honourable. They didn't want to see people going to war. And it was that whole time, wasn't it? That flower power movement of
Hmm.
the 60s going into the 70s, where we just all want to live in harmony, one love, right?
Yeah.
And that's a nice ideal. But the reality is the yin and yang. You can't have like peace and love if without, or can you? This is the question, Mr. Rice. Yin and yang, if that universal law of life is so, yeah. If that's finite, if that is a finite thing, do we not need like the night needs day, like the sun needs the moon? Does love and
Yeah, I
peace?
think, yeah, from what you're saying, and I do, there's a naive
how Mr. Rice, for the
I
first
think
time
I think
in, for,
go on.
Ben, just freezing you, just pausing you. For the first time in our entire um, catalogue of recording, you're frozen
Yep.
and there's something going on in your end. You've all gone glitchy.
Have I?
Yeah,
Can you not hear me?
just about. Yeah, you can
Oh,
now. You went a bit glitch and you've frozen. There's something going on your end with the thing. Anyway, no
oh,
one can see you, so it doesn't matter. Carry on.
okay. Um, yeah, I think there's a naivety to to being uh, if you can be that it's not being that positive, but to try and accept that uh, life can only be one way, and to only ever accept that it is rainbows and unicorns is denying that there is other things that happen in the world. Like the good has got to have the bad, otherwise there's no good. It just becomes the same.
It becomes a what you call it film, an Avatar film,
Yeah.
4 hours long,
Yeah.
and your bladder's about to burst, and you want to just leave because it's just so long.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I think it's yeah, I think uh we've got to be in a place where we can see that that life has every element to it. And if we're in this sort of mindset of only good things, we only want good things to happen ever. The moment a bad thing happens, then you're completely derailed and you're back to square one. And it's like, well, then what's the point? And, you know, life's not fair. You know, it's all of that. It's there's that sort of extremity of thinking of going, well, if it's, you know, if that's what it's going to be, then I'm gonna, you know, I'm just going to give up, sort of thing. And I think there's an acceptance that I've come to where it's okay. Some days I'm going to feel really good, and some days I might feel really bad, and that is life. And I have to move through both with a similar energy. I have to move through those feelings and understand that that is something that I am in at that moment in time. And, you know, I will move on to the next bit and I'll pass through it. You know, in the same way that, you know, like you can't, you life couldn't doesn't work where everybody thinks exactly the same and wants exactly the same things all the time. And you know, that's that's where all the interesting stuff happens, is when you have connection with people and conversations with people that might that might even change your point of view on the world, that might go, actually, this I hadn't even considered that perspective, I hadn't even considered that way of thinking. It doesn't, you know, it's not, oh right, you think this, which is not what I think, so that means you're bad and I'm good. And, you know, I think it's about us all having different strengths, different points of view, different feelings, but it's about how we connect with those, is how we form strong relationships, how we find strong community. People have different strengths, different weaknesses. It's about how we move together and recognize those in each other and recognize those in ourselves as well. You know, there's good parts to me and there's bad parts to me. Um, you know, I'm not. I'm. It would be remiss of me just to say, yeah, I'm perfect. I'm happy all the time. I'm good all the time. There's no, what I think is absolutely correct and right, and everyone should think exactly like me.
Oh, you just sounded like someone who's completely fucking our world up at the moment.
Yeah, but I'm only wearing an orange jumper.
Don't. I don't know who you're talking about. Um, what do you mean? So yeah, I mean, look, shadow side, right?
Hmm.
Shadow side. I always like. I know we talk about Star Wars a lot. I'm not a Star Wars fanatic like you are, but I understand. I understand Star Wars, and the samurai that is like kind of, and now I know Jesus Christ Superstar. They heavily influenced George Lucas. Don't deny it. Heavily influenced by Jesus Christ Superstar. Do you know even the Death March, Darth Vader's Death March?
Yeah.
Is very similar to one of the original tracks from Jesus Christ Superstar. If you listen to that film, if you watch it, you'll hear the Death March.
Okay.
Very subtle, but it's there.
Right.
Honestly, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man. Oh, when I'm with you, I'm gonna make you see this because I've got it on film, and I'm gonna point everything out that I'm talking about, so you know I'm not nuts.
Okay.
Anyway, getting back to Star Wars, which is in its own way a great piece of work.
Hmm.
And what was I talking about? What was I saying? Star Wars. Oh yeah, right. So yin and yang. It's that. It's the dark side of the Force and the Jedi. And all the Jedis need to know to be a good Jedi. We've talked about this before, I'm sure. Sorry for boring anyone. But to be able to use the dark side of the Force, to be a Jedi, to be like good, you need to understand the dark side of the Force. Like all
Yeah.
all all saints are
What?
sinners.
Not all saints. The pop group.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Apart from the song that was on the beach, because that's a good song.
Okay.
Um, yeah, all saints are sinners, right?
Are they?
In theory.
Okay.
Let's explore. Aren't they? Well, look, I'm not saying this isn't a blanket diagnosis, Gnostic, but most people I know who've found redemption and are very spiritual, or have seen the light, and they've got good virtues, good values, they do good work, and they've got good karma, and they put out, and they really help people. They're of service to themselves and the planet and other people,
Hmm.
charitable people, not just for a tax cut, but genuine charity people. They they've had to redeem themselves. Ones I know.
Okay.
I'm one of them.
So we're talking about modern day saints, good people, as opposed to the saints. I mean, I don't know enough about saints. I thought you were talking about like your classic St. George.
No, I'm more talking about, what we in modern world would deem to be a saint. Oh, he's no saint, but he's a nice guy.
It's interesting because I've one of the things I've been watching over the past few days is the BBC did this series called Pilgrimage, where they get a bunch of sort of celebrities together,
I
and
can't, I
they
can't, I never, I can't, I don't know how you watch that stuff, man.
and they trek. They do a pilgrimage. They do a walk.
It just annoys the fucking shit out of me watching a bunch of people like that doing stuff on a show like that. Sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
So what was interesting about what I find interesting about this show is that it's I like the fact that they're actually getting people who we only see as one dimensional. So some of the celebrities on there are I'm just trying to think how to put this tactfully. you know,
Self, self, self-absorbed,
not self-absorbed.
self-centered.
They're just celebrities who we see one dimension of.
Okay.
Whereas they always find some other people on there as well who aren't very well known, but because they need to get so there were seven people on this one, And because they wanted to get a cross section of religion, they had a guy who was very, very Orthodox Jewish, but he's since sort of stepped out of that a little bit. But what he found doing the pilgrimage was actually he's probably more Orthodox than he thought. There was a Muslim comedian, and neither of these two guys had ever heard of before. Uh, there was Ashley Banjo, who's the dancer guy from.
No idea who that is. What is that?
They were
Some
on.
sort of comedy name? Is that a stage name?
No, I think that's his real name.
Ashley Banjo.
Yeah, he's what's the dance troupe he is? They were on Britain's Got Talent,
I
but
don't know. I don't watch this sort of stuff, man. I've got stuff to do with my life, man. What the
but
fuck are you watching?
he's adamant that he's found his Christian faith,
Fair
and
play.
and then there were Jane Middlemiss was on it, Patsy Kensit was on it,
Oh, Patsy
uh,
Kensit.
Hermione somebody who was in Cold Feet, and then there was this girl who again was on Love Island or something. Um,
Sounds fabulous.
but what it is forcing these people to firstly walk a long way. And I think walking is very, very powerful because it forces you, it does force you to have a little bit of a battle with yourself.
Well, it depends how far you're going.
And they did like 400k.
That's far. Where
Yeah.
is it in Spain?
No, they did the north. This is what it was because they were doing St Cuthbert's Way.
Okay, when you come down here, we're going to walk the pilgrimage down
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. I'd love to.
I've told you about it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I've done it both ways
yeah,
on one day.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, like yeah, St Cuthbert's Way is up in northeast, and it finishes at Holy Island, which is Lindisfarne. Can only get out to it when the tide is down. There's like a walkway, and it's where there's like some old monastery relics and stuff there. It's meant to be one of the most holiest places in the UK. It's where sort of Christianity was sort of resurrected and taken back into the UK.
What county is this?
I'm going to say Northumberland, but my county
Beautiful
knowledge
area.
is pretty,
Yeah.
yeah, it's stunning. And they're doing this walk, and they're struggling. There's times when they are struggling because they're having, there's one where they go to the highest point, this big hill, and they're basically going uphill for about 4 or 5 hours, and some of them are fitter than others, and it's that'd be hard for anybody to do. And it's forcing them to have conversations about faith, about what it means to come together as a group of people that they wouldn't normally hang out together, what faith means to them. They go to like a Jewish synagogue, they go to a place of Muslim prayer, um, they go to various different churches and have conversations with different priests and vicars, and even like, and I don't watch, all those shows, those celebrity shows where they, yeah, the ones that you're thinking of and going, oh my
Sorry,
god,
my brain went straight that because I
yeah,
thought straight that. Okay, so this actually, what now you're talking about, this sounds pretty cool.
yeah. So what it does is it forces them to have conversations about what is faith to them. Like for instance, Jane Middlemiss, when she had a bit of a crash, she says, and she basically took herself out of all the stuff that was going on for her in the UK, and she goes over to India for a year and totally immerses herself in like finding a yogi, and
Does she eat, pray,
yeah, pretty
love?
much, yeah,
What's that film called?
eat, pray, love, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
But it's also like, it's kind of when you're looking for those answers and you do that sort of crash, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on a 4 month silent retreat or something. It's one of the, and it's, you can see how all these different people, these different personalities have been trying throughout their life to find some form of spirituality and what spirituality means to them.
Mhm.
And the conversations they're having are already on a certain level or on a certain depth because they're doing this pilgrimage.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm sorry, I'm sort of riffing on the idea because you started talking about saints. And this St. Cuthbert, he was a hermit, and he used to just sort of, people used to come and visit him because he was meant to be uh, so had such a wisdom. I presume he had such a wisdom and a faith about him that people wanted some of that to rub off on them. But he used to stand in the sea with the water up to his neck and pray all day,
He
and I
might have been
just
great. He might have been growing marijuana.
he might well have been. He just had a big wall that was hiding it behind.
It's all a front.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But sorry, I hope that wasn't blasphemous what I just said.
I'm sure there's some St. Cuthbert
What's
people
his
out there.
name? What's his
St.
name?
Cuthbert.
Saint Cuthbert. Saint Cuthbert.
Yeah,
Saint Cuthbert, please forgive me. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm just showing off. I'm
yeah.
really sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, carry on.
But they're all sort of northern pagan saints. So there is a way that they've lived in the land, and as saints, and had these very holy lives. Now, again, I think you're right. I think people do need to have a journey uh, of redemption to come out that other side with a stronger faith, or with a stronger sense of right and wrong. Um, Definitely in the modern world, I don't know enough about these. They fascinate me. These idea that these people in thousands of years ago were living these lives in a very, very different world, but
Yeah.
decided that this was how they were going to display their faith and spirituality, and this is how they were going to live. And
Hmm.
I presume they decided they were just going to live in a very holy way that hopefully made the world a better place. Is that they did things that people went, oh yeah, that's good. But yeah, I would they it, every time I watch, there's about four series of this pilgrimage. Every time I watch it, I go, oh, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to read up on these saints and know a bit more about them. But I
Yeah.
do I do love that idea of you know we're on a journey our whole lives. We're on this. We have these choices, these forks in the road. There's a good way and a bad way, and sometimes we make the right choice, sometimes we make the wrong choice, and that whole yin and yang of life. It's which door do we go through? Um,
So, sorry, keep
have
going.
you found some Cuthbert now?
No, I haven't. I was
Oh,
looking up Carl Jung actually.
okay. Kung Fu fighting.
How do you
That's
say him? How do you say his name?
Carl Jung. Yeah,
Yeah, Carl Jung. Sorry, something
I
came
was.
up for me that I just wanted to prompt myself. Keep going, and I'll come to it.
So yeah, I think it's really like the idea of a modern day saint, the
Hmm.
idea of making those choices, of understanding the dark and the light,
Yeah.
and finding a way to embody both of those, and choose a way forward that is positive and has
Hmm.
positive influence and impact on
Yeah.
on on their own lives and those around them. I think
Yeah.
is the constant dilemma that we're going through. And I think that's why I get fascinated by these pilgrimage programs, because I do think the bit that's obviously missing from a lot of modern life is that spiritual element.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Can I just segue this?
Yeah, go for it. Go for
Right.
it.
So this is brilliant. This is really good what we're talking about. I love it. This is the nuts and bolts, man. This is the freaking catalyst converter to life. I don't know if
Okay.
catalyst converter is the right term. It's like the twin pipes. It's like the fuel injection.
Well, it's
This
a
sort of
catalytic converter, but I
yeah.
like the fact you turned it into a catalyst converter.
I don't know. It's because I've been looking at motorbikes, man.
Okay.
I don't even know if motorbikes have that in there, but I'm trying to educate myself. Excuse me. Anyway, right. So what's come up for me? Let's tie it all together.
Go on then.
Let's tie it all together. So I came across a Carl Jung theory,
Right.
right? Which is in my opinion, really on point, right? So let me just, I'm going to read it, okay? Because I've just got it up. Carl Jung viewed addiction as a spiritual crisis, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing this in, addiction, right? Everything we've been talking about,
Hmm.
Right? We live in a very entangled, like we're in a web.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our reality, our biggest mistake as human beings in this experience we have is believing that we are actually, we have, we're just a soul.
Hmm.
We're just a fucking soul, man. Right? We're a spirit having an experience in this body that we
Hmm.
believe we get so identified with our ego, personality, what we think we are or we're not, and we get caught in all of this sort of virtual reality, right? Which is nonsense. Now,
Yeah.
anyone that's sort of like, what are you talking about, Dave? You're not quite there yet. You'll get there. Don't worry. But most people listening, I'm sure, and most people in general, I think we're living in a more conscious world now, will get what I'm saying, right? I'm just a soul. I'm a spirit, right? And it goes on after this body's debilitated and collapsed and in the ground.
I'm. I can only think of Kenneth Williams and Will o' the Wisp now. I think that's
my
your spirit.
my brother does an absolutely insane impression of that.
I used to love that show.
I'll have to get a little sound bite out of him and play it on
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, so to tie it all in, Carl Jung viewed addiction as a spiritual crisis, suggesting that substances are often misguided attempts to fill an existential void, and that true recovery requires a spiritual awakening and integration of the self, the soul. He
Mm.
believed that addiction could be addressed by replacing the addictive substances, I'm adding the S, with a transcendent experience that the individual finds more satisfying.
Mm.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that land?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So the key here, spiritual. How many times does he say spiritual? At least twice. Spiritual. Carl Jung viewed addiction as a spiritual crisis. It's a malady in other worlds
Mm.
of treatment. They call it a malady, spiritual malady, spiritual crisis, suggesting that substances, and these substances, um, it's not just when we think of addiction, we straight away think of drugs. It's got a lot of stigma attached to it.
Mhm.
There's alcohol, there's food. We've covered so much of it on here. Problem behavior, addiction to drama, addiction to people, addiction to uh, agendas, addictions to our thinking, addictions to our emotions, addictions to depression, addictions to sadness, addictions to happiness, addictions to money, addictions to making money, addictions to porn, addictions to our phones, our screens, addictions to social media. It's endless, all right? Addictions to trying to figure it all out. So he viewed these addictions as a spiritual crisis, suggesting that substances, all the things I just said, are often misguided attempts to fill an existential void, and that true recovery requires a spiritual awakening and integration of the self. He believed that addiction could be addressed by replacing, we need to replace the addictive substances with a transcendent experience, transformative, in other words. We need to
Mm.
transform our experience that the individual finds more satisfying. I need to get an erection over this shit.
Okay.
I'm just putting that in there to sort of make it a little bit more, colourful
Fruity. Fruity.
because it's Carl Jung and it's all very serious. And I don't want to
Mm.
turn people off, I want to turn them on. It sounds inappropriate me saying that. But you know what I mean. We need to get amped, man, about transforming our bullshit misery and our bullshit behavior and our bullshit attitudes and our bullshit fucking misguidance
I'm
and we
fine.
need. Go on.
Go on. Yeah,
No,
well,
no, you go.
no, you go.
No, you go.
Yeah, and find balance. And getting back to the idea of yin and yang is that accepting all parts of ourselves is, I think, part of the spiritual process, is part of you know those moments you can find where you actually reflect on how you live and how you choose to live. And I just, yeah, I think we spend a lot of our lives searching for some sort of meaning, some sort of reason for doing what we do. And a lot of it, I mean, you talk a lot about act one, act two, act three. Act one for me was quite long. It felt quite long. It feels, all this stuff was happening, and I wasn't very conscious. My way of coping with act one was to pretend. What I learned in act one was to have uh, a very solid exterior, which was I'm okay. And I became very good at having a persona that everyone saw as, well, he's very confident, and he's okay, and he's happy, and he's, that's how I lived my life. It wasn't, but underneath all that, there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of turmoil, which I didn't understand, or I wasn't even conscious of. And that used to sort of, I used to burst, is how I would describe it. I would just have these moments of sheer anxiety where throughout my late teens, 20s, into my 30s, life just got too much. And, it was, I struggled to cope with situations that were relatively straightforward. And my body would literally just sort of be fighting me. It'd be like, I can't cope with these sensations that are going on, and the level of anxiety was such that at times was completely debilitating. And it's only when I started sort of trying to process some of what was going on in act two, and understanding, one of the biggest lessons for me when it came to my anxiety was uh, understanding that I was always going to feel that sensation.
Mm.
I wasn't ever going to get to a point where I would stop feeling anxious. But instead of it turning into a full-blown anxiety attack, which would, leave me completely debilitated, and sometimes go on for hours and completely exhaust me, and mean I would stop doing certain things, it was uh it was a going, okay, well, I am going to feel like this, so I'm going to sit back and I'm going to accept those sensations in my body. And that means now, instead of it going and consuming me, I'm going, oh yeah, I understand that is how I feel,
Mm-hmm.
and I am anxious, and why am I anxious, and what am I going to do with that? And I'm not going to die. you know I am, my heart's going to beat a lot faster. I'm going to get really sweaty and clammy, and I'm going to feel like I'm going to collapse. But actually, if I just keep breathing and just maybe do a bit of movement, maybe just take myself out of the space I'm in at the moment, just try and work my way through it, those sensations are totally normal. Everyone feels a little bit anxious at times. And that's when I started to get some sort of, I'm going to use the word control, but I don't like it. It wasn't about controlling the anxiety. Uh, it was about regulating it, and it was about going, that is part of me. this is how I feel anxious, and I know it's totally normal, and I know a lot of other people feel anxious in this way as well. It doesn't mean I'm going to die, which was where my head would get to when I was younger.
So, word that's just instantly popped into my head, and it's not just a word; it's an act, and it's an attitude, and it's called acceptance.
Mm.
Without acceptance, there is no yin and yang,
Mm.
man. You're living in a polarized. I'm in yin, and I'm convinced yin is what I am. And then you go from that into yang, and then you're in yang, and you attach to that, and you go, I'm convinced yang is what I am,
Yeah.
and that's non-acceptance of what is, which is that there's room for both,
Mm.
and it's okay. Don't attach. It always points to the same things in our episodes. Every episode all points to the same. It always redirects to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Not like non-acceptance. That is the yin and yang. Non-acceptance opposing full acceptance.
Yeah.
Non-judgment opposing judgment of our experience. I feel out of control and powerless and completely hopeless. I might as well get fucked because
Yeah.
this is my lot and
Yeah.
there's no way out. That is a complete deluded, inaccurate, non-acceptance, complete judgment of your situation, of what is, which is reality is it will pass. Don't
Mm.
attach to it. And to pull yourself out of it as quickly as possible. And you do have some power and some autonomy to do that. You do have um, sovereignty, I think is quite a buzzword at the moment for all of the well-being lot. Um, we have sovereignty. I can't ever say that bloody word. Sovereignty.
uh,
Find my sovereignty. My
Agency. I'm going to use the
agency.
word agency.
Yeah,
It's much easier to
agency.
say.
Yeah, agency. I think sovereignty is an American term
All right.
saying, so it's not quite coming off my tongue properly. Agency. Yeah, we have agency. I
Yeah.
have agency. I need to exercise it. I need to exercise my right to have my agency, to own it, to know I can use it,
Yeah.
you know, for good or bad, good or evil. um, you know, I've done I've got a lot of experience to know what it feels like to act out of ignorance and insecurities and trauma and all the bad stuff. I know I've got a lot of evidence. I've already done that one. I know where that one leads. So again, it's skillful, unskillful. That's the yin yang. That's the perfect way to encapsulate everything. Skillful versus unskillful, yin and yang.
Hmm.
Are you going to be skillful in your conduct? Or are you going to be unskillful? Are you wise to be living an unskillful life, a non-virtuous life, and to recognize that I'm doing that and not take any agency over changing it? Is that the act of a wise person or not?
Yeah.
That's a question to ask yourselves, people.
Well, it's also that ability, isn't it? Is if you are being wise about a situation, if you're being totally understanding and totally accepting of a situation, then there will be different perspectives. There will be. I quite often use this when I'm talking to the young people at school, and stuff's kicked off, and it's like, yeah, there's your truth, there's
Yeah,
the other person's truth, and then there's the truth in the middle.
yeah,
There'll be so many different ways we can see this, but quite often when we are, particularly when we're young, I think, and we are more blinkered and we're more self-obsessed,
yeah,
self-absorbed, then we are very much like, no, no, I know I'm doing the right thing. No, this is how I'm going to live my life. I'm totally right. You're totally wrong. And it's that ability when you get older is to look at situations and go, right, there is another perspective here. There may be another six or seven perspectives here. There is, if I'm feeling this way, there's a chance that someone else may be feeling a different way. And that's why this energy has been created. That's why we're in this space, this moment in time, and I'm filling it with this energy, which means the person next to me is now feeling something completely different. And it's about being able to sit in a space where you go, right, there's the black point perspective, there's a white point perspective, there's and then there might be, I don't know, a red perspective or a blue perspective, or there's all these different ways of looking at the world. And it's about finding that balance in it and going, okay, well, this is a good way forward. This is a moral way forward that will give me the energy I want without taking the energy away from someone else.
Yeah. So what's just come up for me, what you're saying, is the insanity to try and get balance in the world when you've not got balance in yourself.
Mm,
And that's something I've just thought of.
okay.
Like, that's what's just come up. And then words that just came out, it's just in that order, is what I was thinking. Like, the insanity, it's an insane um, viewpoint to have, to think, to try and, like, you know, to 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 put all of this energy and focus into trying to, like, San Francisco in the 60s. Was it the late 60s with the Vietnam stuff
Mm-hmm.
and all that chaos and all the mad stuff that was going on? And from what I understand, and this is just the way I see it. So this is my understanding of it, which might not be accurate, but my understanding of it was there was a lot of dysfunctional young, very disgruntled, disfranchised um, youths,
Mm-hmm.
young adults, some younger, some older people, that were all just in that sort of um, drop out, tune in
Yeah.
environment, movement, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were anti-war,
Yeah.
which is great. I'm all for that. Totally, I'm with you on that. But it's that thing of, like, you know, they're so focused on trying to bring balance to the world, yet are they actually, do they behold balance in themselves? Because from where I was sitting looking at that, when I've looked at all the documentation, that they were all just fucking mash heads
Yeah.
that had that void. They're like the the jilted generation, that classic jilted generations that we have, And is it an act of valor, or is it an honourable act to all congregate together and come together and be these freedom fighters and protest, and insist on balance and order in the world? Of course, that's absolutely. Why wouldn't we want that? But should we be focusing on ourselves first and foremost? Should we be looking at our own shit first?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
definitely.
if that's a bit controversial what I'm trying to say there, but
I think if we haven't got a balanced view of how we, like, it's very difficult, I think, to understand how other people see you. it's very difficult to get outside yourself and understand fully what what space or energy you take up in the world. You know, it's very rarely we get a chance to sit somewhere and get people feeding back and telling us exactly how they see us in the world.
Until you end up in a support group circle.
Or you're in your coffin and you
Uh,
can yeah, you know, it's like we very rarely ever get a yeah, get that chance to understand what people think and feel about us, what they see us as. And because of that, I think it's very difficult for us then to understand how we then interact with other people. And I think it's I th- only through sort of working on your own understanding of yourself that you can get a better perspective. I mean, one of the classics for me is that whole idea of empathy. And I know, whilst I know that part of my act one, part of my coping with the world and making everything okay was that I would try to fix everything. So
mm,
if someone came to me and said, oh, I'm really struggling, this is really difficult, my first reaction would be, right, what can we do to fix this? What can we do? What measures can we put in place that will make this better? And what I've learned as I've got older is actually a lot of the time, I know, for instance, if I went to someone and said, I'm struggling with this, and then they tried to I, when they try to put things into place in me, I get really annoyed. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want to fix it. I know how to fix it. It's just at this moment in time, I'm feeling really rubbish. What I want you to do, and I think a lot of people want this, is just to go, yeah, I hear you. That sounds really crap. You know,
mm,
if I was going through that, that's exactly how I would feel. Yeah, you're totally justified in feeling really sad or really angry or really frustrated. And I'm going to sit alongside you whilst you feel this way. And if you want a hug, I'm here. And it's not about going, right, here's the solution. It's about going, I want to listen to how you feel. And I'm happy to help you process that rather than going, oh, you're really sad, here's some cake. Or here's a sticking plaster, let's just move on. I can't cope with this emotion, it's too much. Where how can I get you to be how can I get you to stop crying really quickly, because this is making me feel really uncomfortable. And yeah, I think it's about that understanding of how you process both your own emotions, your own feelings, but then how you do that when other people come to you with theirs.
mm.
And normally it's a mirror of how you feel yourself.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I just know that I was searching for balance all my life. I was searching for moderation all my life. I was searching for for unity all my life, harmony, a greater sense of peace, or a sense of peace,
Yeah.
um, and happiness, and all the good stuff. I was searching, and like that Carl Jung's theory on addiction and spirituality, there was a void.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lack. There was a void in me, and I now know that void it was a spiritual void. Um, there was an emptiness, and to get away from the stigma of what spiritual is, spirituality for me was I just didn't. That void was I was disconnected from my sense of who I was, my
Mm.
soul, this soul awareness, this self awareness. That was the void. That was the disconnect that I was cut off from. Trauma severed it. So I had to go on that what he's talking about, you know, that journey of exploration in all the wrong places, doing all the wrong things with the wrong people.
mm.
Um,
It's like sorry, it's the when you said soul awareness, I just suddenly in my head I was thinking like, you know, when you go on the speed awareness courses,
yeah,
it's like
we should
that's
do it
what,
though.
yeah, soul awareness courses. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
you're going too fast. You're just speeding through life without actually stopping and thinking what's the meaning here. We're just going to do some
yeah.
soul awareness groups with you.
This is great. Maybe this is, we should make note of this. Maybe this is part of what we write about when we do a book, right? But like, I just coming back to this thing, this concept, key concepts in the Jung's theory, right? Because it's still here and it's relative. Um, so the existential void, the feeling of emptiness that drives individuals to seek, right?
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of emptiness that drives individuals to seek. Now, I'm a seeker, I always have been, always will be, but there's not an emptiness there anymore. I feel content. Every check in, I'm like, yeah, I feel really fulfilled, content. You know, there's a richness to my experience now and to who I am. But that seeking is still there, which is great. That's brilliant. It's curiosity, it's a sense of adventure. It's beautiful. So it's a win-win. You know, I don't feel empty. I feel like I don't need to feel something into me, you know, that's not there, that's missing. I don't feel like there's something missing. I don't feel there's a lack of, but I've still got that desire to want to go and seek new experiences. That's perfect. And then it's got the spiritual awakening part, a transformative experience that leads to personal growth and recovery, integration of the self, the process of reconciling different aspects of one's personality. Integration of the self, the process of reconciling different aspects of one's personality. You know, and a big part of that is often referred to as Jung puts it as the shadow.
Mm. The dark side.
Yeah. And that's what I was on the run from.
Mm.
I was scared. I was terrified of that fucking thing. I knew it was there. And that's why I tried to suppress it because every time I got a sense that it was going to reveal itself, I was terrified. I was so scared of that part of me. I was yet to understand why it's there, what it serves, and the fact that it's actually part of my experience and it's all right, you know? Yeah. Conclusion. I'm going to finish on this. Conclusion. Jung's insights into addiction highlight the importance of addressing the spiritual dimensions of human experience. By understanding addiction or our experience as a search for meaning, individuals can pursue recovery paths that foster genuine healing and personal transformation. The end, Mr. Young.
Nice.
So I really relate to that because it's been part of my journey. Um, I really do. It makes sense to me.
Mm.
And I really do believe in spirituality being just the essence of the life force. It's just
Yeah.
it's just being human.
Yeah.
Being spiritual is just really being your authentic self. It's you being in your true nature,
Mm.
every part of you. You know, your dark side, the shadow side, the yin yang, all of you, every single drop of your experience is the essence of being spiritual.
Mm.
And we've got this stigma that spirituality is like, you know, being in India with Jane Middlemiss or whatever her name is.
Yeah, we've also got that stigma that it's going to church on a Sunday morning,
Exactly, exactly.
it's you know, I remember dreadful experiences as a kid going and they'd wave that incense around, which used to just make me feel sick, and it's too much. And it was people standing in robes chanting and saying stuff that just didn't was so slow and boring and made no impression on me. And I think it's, I think we are turned off by religion and not really given the opportunity to explore what it might be. Or I definitely feel like that was my experience of religion at a young age. And I don't know whether religion or spirituality comes as you get older. I don't know whether that's part of growing
Well,
older, is
well,
understanding that.
I mean, I just don't think religion is a necessary component to being spiritual.
No, no.
It's full stop. Period. That's my opinion.
Mm,
I really believe that. Like, you don't need to be religious to be spiritual. You don't.
no.
Like per se in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
You know, the religion of being a dedicated member of martial arts of sorts, or a dedicated, like I've always said, surfing. The surfers 100% see it as spirituality.
Mm,
Or being a mountaineer, someone that just goes on massive exhibition, ex,
expeditions.
expeditions in the mountains. That's spiritual.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about the idea of a pilgrimage. Is
Yeah,
it's a battle with yourself, because there is a physical element to it where you are walking and you are challenging yourself to go a distance and spend time with yourself.
that's me. That you just described my me. What you've just described is my school. 5 years going to secondary school to an all boys school. That was my pilgrimage. Walking to that place every day and leaving there every day and walking back and having to endure facing myself um in those 5 years was
Yeah.
a pilgrimage to me.
Okay.
It really was. It was fucking mental.
I've got a quote, my quote of the week, which I have already shared with you.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
sent
yeah,
it to
yeah.
you,
You did,
but
yeah.
it kind of fits with what we're talking about, which is how do you say her? I think it's Anais Nin is her name, and the quote I've got from her is, "We do not grow absolutely chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and then not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We are mature in one realm, childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and put us backward, forward, or fix us in the present. We are made up of layers, cells, constellations."
Beautiful. And that was riddled with yin and yang.
Yeah, yeah.
It was littered, peppered throughout that quote. There's lots of yin and yang, you know, two opposing
Mm,
um, modalities.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And I think for me, there's always the third way. There's always, and that's what I find. Yin and yang, I think people see it as two halves, as balance,
then it's
and
the
that
whole.
and the whole. But yeah, and that is the third way, is the whole.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
it's not
Completion.
it's not two halves.
Mm.
It's not two things opposing each other. It's two things coming together, forming a third thing, forming a third way. Um,
Yep. 100%.
so yeah, I mean, I think it is all about understanding ourselves so that we can understand.
That is that is it. That's the end of this episode. You've just brought us to the end with what you just said.
Yeah,
Understanding.
yeah.
Like, what's the use of having yin and yang if you don't understand what it is?
Hmm.
You know, we have to understand. And to understand, we have to bring in the three fundamental elements of we need to open our minds up. So we have to remain open. We need to be teachable. To understand, we've got to open up. We need to be willing to try something new because we don't know it all. Um, and we need to be honest. It's
Nice.
understanding, isn't it? What you
Yeah.
just said. It's understanding. We need to understand. All of the world's problems are because we're not listening. We're not open. We're not willing to compromise and we're not being honest. Far from it. So there's no understanding. So yeah, we're going to continue to drop fucking bombs on each other,
Yep.
metaphorically speaking and quite literally.
Yep.
So for anyone listening, this is the takeaway for me, for you, for us. Let's understand. Let's understand. Let's learn. Let's educate ourselves on how to be the best versions of ourselves, first and foremost, and then to one other person, start from that point and outwardly.
Nice.
You reckon?
Yeah, that's good.
And on that note, if you like what you've heard, hit the like button and share it and all that sort of stuff. Just thought I'd get that in there. Help us help each other.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. You all right? You good?
Yeah, yeah.
Mission complete.
Mission complete.
So what's left to do now is just to do the last episode in this round. We're gonna
And then
keep.
we
We're
start
gonna.
again.
We're gonna keep going. We're perpetuating the cycle of doing these episodes forevermore.
we've completed the world. That's it. We don't need to worry anymore.
All right, man. Well, look, it's been good, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I'll see you then, mate. Take care.
Bye.